Guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be learning how to make a book sleeve. And for this one, I just did a simple double crochet with a crab stitch border. I have a little chain loop here to make a closure for the button. I will show you a book in it real quick. It's pretty stretchy, so it can probably accommodate a variety of books. This is a pretty standard size book. I have a lot of books and a lot of them are this size, so they fit in here. And if you're wondering, the book is 8.5 inches tall, 6 inches wide, and 1 inch thick. So that is my book in the book sleeve. I have made quite a few of these and you can find them on my Etsy if you want to purchase one instead of make one. So when it's laying flat, it is 9 inches by 6 inches. So to make a book sleeve, you are going to need any weight 4 acrylic yarn, and I am using Hobby Lobby. This is a print and the colorway is Fuzzy Slippers. I'm going to be using a 5.5mm hook. You'll need scissors, a yarn needle, and then it's optional if you want to make the loop closure or not. You can leave it open if you prefer. I'll show you an open version just so you can see. This is a different stitch, but there is no loop closure and it still works great. It hugs the book pretty tight while still being stretchy at the same time. So the choice is yours, but I am using this 1 inch wooden button. I got them off of Amazon if you're interested, and I will link the buttons down in the description. You'll also need a book that you're making your sleeve for. Books are all kinds of sizes. Like I said, a lot of my books are this exact same size, so I'm going to be using this book, and I will show you really quick the measurements on camera. So it's 8.25 tall. Sorry, I think I said 9. 8.25 by 5.5, and it is about 1 inch thick. So what you're going to do to get started is you're going to make a slip knot, and you're going to place that on your hook. And then I typically chain 33 for my book. Okay, so I have my 33 chains. I'm going to take my hook out just to show you. Up against my book, it is just, I'm trying to do it without stretching it. That's why I'm laying it next to the book. But you can see that it is a bit shorter than my book. And you'll see why. I did that on purpose, I promise. So I've got 33 chains, and you may need to chain more or less depending on your book measurement. So I'm going to skip the first chain and I'm going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook. And I'm going to single crochet all the way down my chain until I get to the last chain, and that's where I will meet you. Okay, so I have 1 chain left, and that is where you're going to place 3 single crochet. And then you're going to turn your chain so that you're working down the other side of it now. And you're going to just single crochet into all of these. And when you get to the last one, you're going to put 2 in the last, because the first one we did counts as 1, therefore making it 3, just like on this end. I hope that made sense. I'm going to crochet my way down my chain now, and I will meet you back at the end. Okay, so I am at the beginning, and that is where I am going to add 2 single crochet where I made that first one. And that is the end of our base of the book. So if you put it up against your book, it still may not be the right length, like the same length as your book, but that's okay because it's going to have stretch to it. So I have ended with my last single crochet, and now I'm at the beginning again. So what I'm going to do is slip stitch into that single crochet, the first one I made, and now I'm going to make a standing double crochet. I do this instead of making a chain 2 because it blends better with the rest of the stitches. So where you made that slip stitch, you're going to make a single crochet, and then in this bar of that single crochet, you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both. There we have made a double crochet, or a standing double crochet. So in the next space, you're going to make a double crochet, and you're just going to continue that all the way around this entire round, just making one double crochet in every stitch. So I will meet you back when we get to the last double crochet of the round. Okay, so I am at my last stitch before that stacked double crochet we made, and I am just going to make my last double crochet, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the stacked double crochet, and this can get confusing because you see all these little stitches that kind of look like you should be slip stitching into them. You're actually going to slip stitch into the very top of it, and then it just cleans that up. So we're going to do the same thing. This is a new round, so this is round 3. And from here on out, for the rest of the length of your book, you're going to do this same round over and over again. So you did your slip stitch, you're going to single crochet right where you slip stitched. And then in that bar, that bottom front bar of the single crochet, you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through. So essentially, you are making a single crochet on top of a single crochet. Now you're just going to double crochet all the way around, and you will continue this until the book sleeve reaches the length you need to cover your book. So I don't know if I'm going to have the same amount of rounds as that first one I showed you, but we'll look real quick. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rounds of double crochet. And then I do a round of single crochet and a round of crab stitch. So I did end a little bit shorter than my book to give room for the edging so that it didn't hang over too far. So I will meet you back when I have reached my desired height, and we can compare yours to mine. But if you want to check now if you're on the right track, this should start to cover your book, but it's going to pull in. These sides are going to kind of pull in, and it's going to go up. I will update you in a few rows to show you exactly what I mean. So just complete your rounds doing double crochets in every stitch. Always slip stitch into that stacked double crochet, and then just keep doing that all the way around. Okay, so I have completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 rows of double crochet, and I'm just going to show you how it is fitting my book right now. So you'll see it is overlapping a bit, which is what we want, because we have to take in the fact that the book has a little bit of depth, how thick it is. So that's why we didn't want the chain to be longer, because then the book sleeve would be way too big. We wanted it a little bit shorter because it's going to end up being stretchy, and adding those 3 stitches on the end of that base chain gave it the extra length we needed. So this is what it looks like right now on my book. And this may look a little bit loose, which is fine because the single crochet row I'm going to do along with the crab stitch are going to tighten that up around the book. So that's how it's looking right now. I've done, what did I say? I did six rounds of double crochet so far. I'm guessing I need to do 5 or 6 more. I think I'm going to end about here where you can see these words. And then I will show you what to do next. So if yours is looking like this, you are on the right track. Don't worry if it's a little bit loose like that. That's about how loose mine is. Not super bad or baggy, of course, but it's just the yarn, the stretch, and it's a double crochet, so it's a bit of a looser stitch. Okay, so I have completed 12 rounds of double crochet, just like the first book sleeve I showed you. So this is how it is looking on my book when I put it on. I ended up about right where those words end. So I'm going to do 1 round of single crochet. I have already slip stitched into my stacked double crochet. So I'm just going to place a single crochet where I slip stitched. And then I'm going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around until I get to the end, and I will slip stitch back into the first single crochet I made. So I will meet you at the end, and then we will begin our crab stitch border. All right, so I am at my last stitch. I'm making my last single crochet. I am slip stitching into the first one I made. So now we're going to start our crab stitch border, and to do that we are going to go into the previous single crochet. So we're going to crochet this way instead of that way, which it might feel weird, but I promise you'll get the hang of it. So in the previous single crochet, you are going to insert your hook, yarn over, pull up that loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops. You're going to go into the next stitch, the next previous stitch, and do the same thing. So essentially, we are just single crocheting backwards. That's how I like to describe it. Again, I will show you a little bit slowed down, but this is how it is looking. It just looks very twisted, which that's how it'll look when we're done. And I like it because you can't tell where it begins or ends, which is very fun. So again, you're going to go into the previous stitch, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. You're going to do that all the way around your book sleeve. Almost all the way around. I take that back. You're going to do that all the way over this side. You're going to crochet all the way over. When you turn it to start crocheting this way, you want to stop when you get somewhere in the middle, trying to just try your best to find your middle point, and that's where I will meet you. Okay, so I am at the middle point of my book sleeve. As you can see, I have done my crab stitch on the back, and now I am on the front of the book sleeve. So this is where we're going to make our chain loop for our button. So I like to chain about 18, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. If I lay that down, that gives it a decent amount to reach over. You could chain more if you want, or less if you chain loose. It's really up to you. And then what I'm going to do is slip stitch back into the last place that I crab stitched. So just make a slip stitch there, and then I'm going to continue on with my crab stitch like I was. So previous stitch, yarn over, pull up the loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And I'm just going to continue this until I get to the end, where we will fasten off and weave in our ends. So I'll see you when I am there. So I'm at my last stitch, which is where we slip stitched to end the previous row, and I'm going to make my last crab stitch there. I'm going to pull up my yarn, giving myself a decent sized tail. It's about, I don't know, 8 inches or so. I'm just going to cut my yarn and pull that out. And now we're going to take our yarn needle, thread our tail through, and I like to go in the crab stitch at first to hide the tail. So, see if I can show you a little better. I'm going to zoom in. So, this is the inside of my sleeve. This is where we ended. I'm just going to take my tail and weave it through the crab stitch. I like that it's easy to hide in here. And I'm going to pull it out at some point. It doesn't really matter where. Pull your tail through. Make sure it's not cinching or anything. And then I'm going to bring it just behind a few stitches down to this single crochet row. Do that. And then I'm going to just go behind these stitches, going in the opposite direction now. Just so it's a little bit more secure, I like to go back and forth in opposite directions. Sorry, you could not see that. So I'm just going behind and through some stitches, pulling that through. So that's what we've done, and as you could see, mine was pretty tight. I'm just going to cut my yarn. So the book sleeve is complete. Now we're going to add our button. So what you're going to do is flip it over so that the loop is at the back. You're going to fold your loop over and just make sure that it's aiming down the middle. So right about here is where we want to attach our button. So I'm just going to cut some yarn, I don't know, 10 or so inches. And then I'm going to need actually a smaller needle to thread through my button. Okay, so I've got a smaller needle. Okay, and I'm just threading my yarn through. I'm going to grab my button, just make sure it is centered. Looks good to me. So I'm just going to attach it. I'm going to start from the back, find one of the holes to go through, and then leave a little bit behind so you have a way to tie it off. And I just do a little crisscross. So got one going diagonal, then I go in the top hole, cross over to the bottom, and then I do that again just to make it extra secure. I just go through those same holes, same direction, all over again. Pull that through. You can take your needle out. I just tie a knot here, 2 or 3 of them. I pull pretty tight, so 2 is normally good for me. You may want to do more. And then I'm going to just hide these tails. And that is our book sleeve, all complete. So let's test it out. Grab your book, pop it in your sleeve. I like the extra stretchiness because I know it can accommodate a bigger book if I really wanted to. But that's my book sleeve. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I think it was fairly easy. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you plan on making one, let me know what yarn you're using, what colors. And if you want to share it on my community page, feel free to do so because I love seeing what you guys make. Thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you guys in another one. Bye.